Hey everybody, thanks for listening to the El Toro's podcast, exclusively now on Anchor.fm. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Here, let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on things like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can also make money from your podcast, which is always a plus, with no minimum listenership. And it's everything you need to make a podcast right at your fingertips and in one place. I can't believe it took me this long to switch over to Anchor.fm, but I couldn't be happier now. So, get yourself started and download the free Anchor app now, or go to Anchor.fm to get started. How's it going, everybody? This is El Toro. Coming up next on the El Toro Podcast Network is episode 11 of Capital Wrestling. But before we start on to that, I just want to give a shout out to ProWrestlingTees.com. ProWrestlingTees.com, where you can actually purchase gear to support your favorite wrestlers and other independent wrestling promotions. You can get your official apparel from New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, Lucha Underground, and you can also get a lot of the t-shirts and apparel from any of the wrestling personalities. Okay, guys? Go check them out, ProWrestlingTees.com. Please enjoy the podcast.
The finest professional wrestling from the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic region, Capital Wrestling.
Welcome everyone to 11 of the Capital Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Sean O'Brien. You can catch us here every Wednesday afternoon at 12 o'clock at soundcloud.com/El Toro's Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Capital Wrestling without the G. Follow me on Twitter at Sean Neutron. We have a lot going on leading up to only a few weeks away, less than a month away from the June 3rd event at Cathedral Hall. It's going to be the second event for Capital Wrestling and a loaded, stacked card we got going on. I've been fortunate to talk to the entire, most of the roster at this point, and we're just going to keep plugging away and having guests on here, And this week's episode is going to be no different. We're going to have the North-South Connection, Zane on a little bit later, but right now, he's known as the Vinny the Kid Pacifico, also the Comeback Kid with his current injury status right now. But you've seen him at Warriors Wrestling, UWA, The Future Is Now, Next Level, Blitzkrieg. So he's in a short time, in only a few years, he's made quite the impact on the wrestling scene, and we're very fortunate to have him on tonight. So thanks, Vinny, for joining us. How you been?
Doing very good. Thank you very much for having me, buddy.
Oh, my pleasure, man. So what you been up to?
I've been rehabbing. It was a great day at physical therapy. I feel great right now. I'm almost range of motion, completely full, almost. I'm working on it. Nothing more to ask for.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you can't hope for right now. And I mean, you seem very determined from what I've seen, your injury progress and whatnot. We'll discuss that in a little bit. But I guess first we'll just, I always like to start from the beginning and where the seeds were planted in terms of your wrestling career. What was your inspiration for wrestling years ago? What first got you into it?
I first got into it from my friend playing SmackDown vs. Raw 07. I saw it, I was like, wow, this is so cool. Why not just, watch it on TV? So I watched it, and it grew on me, I wanted to wrestle after I saw Daniel Bryan live. Because he's my inspiration.
Oh, and who was he fighting that match?
He was fighting Randy Orton.
Oh, okay, yeah,
and, he shook my hand, and I was like, wow, that's what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so eye-opening, and it was such an awesome moment for me.
And have you looked to kind of adopt things like his style and moves and certain things like that into your repertoire?
Sometimes, yes. Once in a while I'll throw something in there that he does. I really enjoy everything he does. He's my favorite of all time. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I guess that was the exact moment you decided you want to be a wrestler.
Yes.
I guess, who do you look up to in terms of a role model for wrestling?
I'd say Logan Black, my trainer. Danny Cage, and Michael Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
That's people I look up to because they're always there for me, always pushing me. There's great people, and they're very, very passionate about what they do, and there's great wrestlers.
Yeah, Danny, I've seen him doing some, wonderful things there at the MFPW or in the Monster Factory.
Wonderful.
And, this is a cheap plug for my other podcast, the Squared Circle Sound Off at WLW Studios, but I'm going to have him on this week to discuss it, so I can't wait for that.
That's great.
So what kind of things have you learned from him?
Danny?
Yeah.
Certain techniques in the ring, different types of ways to work my social media.
Mm-hmm.
He's just great. He really is. Like, he's always caring about everybody. He wants to push everybody to be the best they could be. He's a wonderful person, and I'm blessed to have him in my life.
Yeah, I mean, social media, like you said, having that branding is huge as a wrestler, and especially as an independent wrestler. How much more important has it been since you've been sidelined, and the importance of social media and keeping yourself relevant and out there?
Oh, it is huge. It is absolutely so important to keep engaging, keep the face out there, to keep doing what you gotta do all the time. I also now help for another trainer, Joe Bellini. He helped me a lot on social media as well, like with advice and stuff, and like how to promote yourself, promote your shows, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's great. It's just I know how I didn't know how important it was to always post things.
Yeah.
Now I'm realizing post this, post this, post this. Share this. You know what I mean?
No, exactly.
Keep engaging, get new people to be into you. It's so important.
Yeah, and then sometimes hitting the certain hashtags, whatever you have to hit.
Of course, yeah.
And then I've done writing. I've been part of writing for websites, and I've done the podcasting. And certain teams of people, I'd be surprised like why didn't they share certain things? It's like if you have a team, they should be sharing. Everyone should be sharing everyone's things. And
of course.
I've seen like people online where wrestlers they wonder why they don't share certain things, and it's like it's only going to make better for your show.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's very important. But yeah, I guess where that's your inspiration now. And what kind of active wrestlers? Who do you look up to right now in terms on the scene that you work with that you for inspiration and for knowledge, insight?
Michael Orlando would definitely be one.
Mm-hmm.
Will Ferrara. LSG. He's definitely somebody I look up to. I gotta go with Logan Black, one of my trainers. Because all these people are really, really like packed in my life. They're very hard workers. They hustle. And these people are great. You know what I mean? And you want to learn from them. J. George Estrella, another guy that trained me.
Mm-hmm.
J. George is very, very good, and he's very, very smart. So I just love learning from him. You know what I mean? No,
exactly. And I mean, you talked about people who've trained with you and actually trained you. Where was that first step for you in terms of finding where to train and a place with credibility and a track record?
Well, I started at ETP33
mm-hmm.
3 years ago, and I had guys like Aaron Bradley, Sonny Kiss, Gino, those great people. Kenny Bengal, there's all like Graysons, they're all talking to me, they're all great people, have trained me and everything. And then I lived an hour away from there. So I lived in Staten Island. Then I found Warriors Wrestling and said, I live in Staten Island, so I should go to Warriors Wrestling. You know what I mean? Just closer.
Mm-hmm.
And once I went there, it came on. They pushed me so hard. They got me ready. They put me in like practice matches, but I was ready for matches. They're the absolutely best. Warriors Wrestling changed my life, and I'm just so happy and so grateful I had a chance to train there. And I still train there when I heal up.
Mm-hmm.
I still train there then, but that place changed my life. It really did. And I can't thank them enough for everything they did.
How long after you began training that you had your first match?
Okay. Okay. I started training April. Okay. In Warriors, April 9th was my first day. And my first match was July 18th in a Royal Rumble. And then since then I had matches every month for Warriors. And then UWA. And then started branching out to Blitzkrieg, Connecticut, UWA, XWA. Then that became like, I'll do this every week. I'll try to every week where I can people. Even if I ain't booked, I'm still gonna go and show my face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just do what I gotta do. You know, do the drives.
Yeah, exactly. As Bob Evans says.
Yep.
What kind of I guess you had nerves going through you for that first match?
Well, that was crazy. I actually fell in my entrance.
You what?
I fell on water in my entrance.
Whoa.
It was pretty bad.
Were you just running out too quickly and caught your feet?
I was just nervous. And, like, some guy had water before me.
Oh,
and
no.
He ran out and slipped and fell, and it was, like, pretty embarrassing. But I said, you know what? Let me just do it.
Well,
Let's do it. Let's go.
As long as you didn't tear both quadriceps on the ring apron like Vince McMahon back in 2005.
Oh, thank God. That would have been the worst.
I remember watching that, and he gets in the ring, he stands up and falls right on his ass. You're like, damn, I mean, to tear one quadricep but both of them, I mean, the chances of that's just a freak accident.
It's ridiculous. It's insane. I can't believe it.
And I guess that's an easy segue from that injury to the current one that you're in the process of healing up from. If you'd mind telling the fans, how did that go down? What happened with your injury?
So I was in I did a flip, basically flip over the top rope into the ring. It's like as a move, and I don't know what happened. I do it all the time, and it just popped out. My knee just popped.
Was it kind of like one of those Eddie Guerrero sentons?
Well, not on my feet.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
But similar to that, yes. And it just popped, and I was like, damn, I didn't know anything, I didn't think anything of it. I kept wrestling. It kept popping. And mind you, I don't really have very strong leg muscles. I don't really train legs that much.
Mm-hmm.
I learned my lesson there.
Yeah.
But it kept popping. It kept popping. I'm like, damn, I realized something's wrong. Then I had a match for Rockstar Pro in Ohio. And it popped. The minute I got in that ring, I ran the ropes, popped. I was like, you know what, now I need surgery. So I got the surgery done. I've been rehabbing since. I'm in no pain right now. It's going very, very well right now, so I'm very happy about how it's going.
So who were you wrestling when it happened?
I was in a battle royal.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly, it was just really bad.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that because you definitely, I guess it definitely deters you, but at the same time, like, you look very driven and inspired to get past it and not let it drag you down.
I can't wait to get past this. I can't wait to get back. I really, it makes me crazy, but I really can't wait to get back.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things to get back to, but especially Capital Wrestling. And, it was unfortunate that you couldn't take part with, the North-South connection with Ryan Zane, aside, in wrestling capacity. But what was the original plan on March 25th, but before your injury?
A tag match, and I hit up Ryan. I'm like, dude, I can't do it. I tore my ACL, so I'm getting surgery. And he was like, he didn't realize first how long I'd be out for, 6 months, and then he realized, like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, yeah, you gotta take a few money back for now.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing great.
And does that, when you're managing Ryan, that match against Ken Dixon, how did your mentality change in terms of, was it like I guess you're really still hungry to get in the ring, so it was hard to be in that role?
I'm still hungry to get in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
When I get back, me and him will make magic, I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Ryan are make magic when I get back.
And how long you guys, is this your first time teaming up together, or had you guys?
It is.
Oh, okay. So, brand new thing.
We clicked. The minute we met, it clicked.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, that's good. And then there we go.
What do you think it is about his personality and yours that click together?
It just matches. It's so funny. Our personalities match. It's like I'm we're opposites, but like perfect opposites. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a cool duo. I love it, and I can't wait to play with them. I really can't wait to make magic and act with them.
Now, when you thought of that, when is the North-South connection? Who coined that term?
I think he did.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have to see. I'm from the North, to the South.
I guess you guys got to get a logo on that and put that on a T-shirt.
Yeah, put on a T-shirt. Yep, we got to do it. I was thinking we put our faces on a T-shirt, but it's up to him. We got to think something together.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever you can do and whatever makes sense and is most creative.
Yep.
Now, in terms of joining up with Capital Wrestling, what made you want to join Capital Wrestling, and how did that? Who did you connect with to become part of the roster?
I heard the buzz about it. It's like everyone's like, "Oh, Capital, 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 Capital," and I'm like, "Oh wow." I'm just trying to get on. I messaged people, messaged Marcus, messaged Matt, like, "Hey," and like, they saw at me. They were willing to put me on, give me a chance, and I tore my ACL, which really good way to get on, but I guess they still have trust in me, so I'm going to do what I can while I'm injured, and when I get back, I'm going to put 100% in everything I do.
Now, last week we saw him, the match that aired. What were your thoughts on that match with him versus Ken Dixon?
I liked it. I saw the fire in Ryan, and I loved it. He had similar fire, and it really motivated me. It's eye-opening. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
See how much fire he has, how quick he is at moments, and I love it.
Do you think on June 3rd he'll actually take the shirt off next time, or do you think he's not going to get a chance like when Ken Dixon cut him off?
This time I hope the shirt comes off.
It means business.
He means business. He does.
Now, this past week on Capital Wrestling, you mentioned the tag team titles, your aspirations for that. So, how do you think you guys would stack up against the rest of the tag team division?
I think we have a chance. We have a great chance. But obviously right now I really can't do much. But I think when I get back, we have our eye on the prize, and we can stop at nothing until we have those titles in our hands.
What are your thoughts on the tag team champions, Luxury Muscles Incorporated?
They look great. They look great. Their bodies are insane. So they're huge. So it's gonna be pretty hard, but I think we can take them.
Mm-hmm. And then you had the Fabukiss, who they're not a full-time tag team, but they looked pretty impressive. And then you have the New York Wrecking Crew. So there's definitely
They look pretty good. They did look pretty impressive. Yes, they did. All I say is, every given week, anybody can win.
True.
Anybody can win. I'm telling you. So I just think we have a great chance, and we will stop at nothing to get that chance.
Mm-hmm. And I guess coming up on June 3rd, Ryan's going to face Rick Cataldo, one half of the Fella Twins. What is your role?
Mm-hmm.
Is your role going to be what we saw on March 25th? Are you going to be in his corner?
I think I will be. I'm going to be encouraging him, helping him get ready to do what he got to do.
Mm-hmm.
I hope time does the job. Get the job done.
And what kind of, like, in terms of outside the ring, how do you guys ever get a chance to build up that camaraderie even more?
We talk about things that we're going to do, how we're going to do things, how we're going to get our team to be the best it could be, different ways to do different moves, different movesets we could do, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
We think of merch ideas, social media ideas. We have a lot of things on hand.
Nice. And I guess right now you're just going to continue to focus. And what is like day-to-day recovery process like for you, in terms of like scheduling, you get workouts and stuff like that?
Wake up, make breakfast for the family. I go to the gym, get this leg nice and ready. I go to physical therapy. Well, at the gym, I'll do upper body because I can't do legs yet, really. I'll do some leg stuff, like stretches, leg extensions, but like with no weight. Certain things, hamstring, whatever they're called. I don't know the names of them. But I do all these workouts that my PT gave me at the gym. Then I go to PT and they work on my leg, they massage my leg, they do all these different things. And it's getting better every day. It really is. So I'm hoping that real soon I can start running. And that's the next step.
And I guess
and then I go,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No problem. After the gym, I go home, watch wrestling, study, and eat. Right now, I'm kind of on a strict diet. I'm trying to eat tons of protein, tons of carbs, to stack up. That's really it. That's really all I've been doing lately.
And you said you've learned your lesson from, I guess you're going to train legs a little harder from now on, and even when you're 100%.
Definitely.
Who have you talked to in terms of how to go about that and doing it the right way, and in terms of incorporating more leg work stuff?
Jason Karloff, Michael Lando, they're very, very leg orientated. They're very, very strong. They can squat so much weight.
That's a lot of.
I've really learned a lot about like how to train your legs better, how to get bigger legs, stronger legs, to keep from injuring yourself again.
Yeah, that's two guys with a lot of power right there, and then Jason's going to be making his debut on June 3rd as well against Logan Easton Leroux.
Awesome, that's great. Jason's the man.
And I guess in terms of and your goals too, not even just with Capital Wrestling, but also your career, what kind of goals have you set for yourself outside of the injury? Once you get back. Like once you get back in terms of just your aspirations in wrestling and I guess, goals from maybe 6 months out, a year out, etc.
Well, my long-term goal is to make it, obviously, most people, as everybody probably.
Mm-hmm.
But I say my goals for now are just doing what I'm doing, try to get booked every week, train during the week, do as much as I can, you know what I mean? Just to get back on the hustle. Yeah. That's what I gotta do.
There you go, and like you said, don't count Vinny out. DCVO. We saw that nice little video. Yeah. Who was it? Was it Zane who did your video for you?
Zane Decker, yes. Strong Style Studios. Zane Decker, he's the best. Mm-hmm. If you want a photo shoot, you want promo pics, want a highlight video, go to Zane Decker.
And how long had that video been in the works?
Which one? The newest one?
Yeah, the newest one. Yeah.
All right, that was a surprise actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they're going through a lot with my leg and everything. We're in Florida. George seemed to say, I want you to come inside and watch something on TV. He put it on TV for me. I was in tears. It was the most heartwarming thing I've had in this year. It's absolutely that made my day. It was
really well done.
It was great. I can't wait to see Zane again. He's away in Australia right now, but coming back really soon, and he's gonna come back and do some awesome work. Him and I are gonna do some awesome work together. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I guess you said right now you're studying. That's part of how you keep your day filled. What do you kind of matches or wrestlers are you studying? What are you trying to incorporate and learn?
William Regal, obviously Dana Bryan, Triple H, Randy Orton, John Cena. A lot of guys. So many guys inspire me, and so many guys give me that passion. I watch them, I see the passion in them, and I just love it. So I just try to watch as much as I can.
I guess in Randy Orton matches, you're just trying to learn how to do the headlock, right?
Woo! Oh.
Oh, man.
I also love Dolph Ziggler. I love watching him. He's great.
Oh. I guess
the headlock.
I guess like watching a guy like Dolph Ziggler, just trying to keep that motor and the way he just no quit with that guy.
Doesn't stop. He's a hustler. I love him.
Oh, and speak of hustling, I mean, you said you have some T-shirts you're pushing?
Yes, I have the Vinny Pacifico shirts, black and red, and then I have New York Giants Vinny shirts. They're not New York Giants, but they have the logo of the Giants in my name. And they're blue.
No, those are brand new?
They're pretty new, yeah. They're selling out pretty good, but I have a few left.
Do you have them? Are those available online for fans?
I have them available online. There's specifically for details, and I have 8x10s, a bunch of 8x10s.
Okay, and where can fans find you on social media?
At Vin Pacifico on Instagram, at Vinny Pacifico 1 on Twitter, at Vinny Pacifico on Facebook.
Awesome, and hopefully, fans will follow you and see your journey that you're going through right now, and you're persevering through this injury. But in hopefully, I guess maybe sometime in the late summer, early fall, you'll be back in action, and the North-South Connection can attack the tag team division.
Yep, we'll do our best.
But yeah, I want to thank you for coming on the show and just parting some of your insight, your knowledge, and just letting us share your journey with you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. And right now, we're going to take a quick break, and after the break, we're going to talk to the other half of the North-South Connection, Ryan Zane. And welcome back to the Capital Wrestling Podcast. I want to thank Vinny Pacifico for coming on earlier and updating us on his injury and his thoughts on Capital Wrestling and his connection with Ryan Zane, who is actually our next guest right now. So there's the introduction, but he's also goes by other monikers, such as Sad Boy, Sulk Hogan, Tender Defender, The Ultimate Warrior. He's based out of Richmond, Virginia. He's also really good, Ryan Zane. That's the most important one. He's really good.
I'm not sure whose idea that was, but it's my job to run with it and carry it and not let them down.
Hey, you're doing a good job because you're really good, man. You're not just good, you're really good.
Jeez. Okay, well, thank you. And hi, thank you for that rousing introduction. That could lift my spirits a little bit.
Oh, of course, man. Anything I can do to cheer you up, but and also want to give a shout out. He's also been involved with Fusion Wrestling, and obviously now with Capital Wrestling.
Yeah.
So.
Hi guys. Hi Fusion Wrestling. I'd love to shout them out if you're in the Virginia area. Go support Fusion Wrestling. See that event. See a bunch of really good fights. See a bunch of guys who beat me up in the past.
Yeah, they had a great event last week. I know Bo Crockett main evented it. Billy Gunn was there. You had Tony Atlas. So it was a very great event last weekend down in Richmond.
That's awesome. I love to see that brand growing.
Watching wrestling growing in general, dude, there's no reason for people to hate on it or anything like that. You just want people to do well.
Yeah, and sometimes it even feels like a safe space, that's good. I need my safe space. I need to stay away from my triggers.
The whole wrestling world band together. It was a few weeks ago. It was Jared Followell from the Kings of Leon, and then this week it was everyone attacking Randy Orton in a sense.
I mean, that's the Randy Orton thing's a little bit of infighting.
True.
I'm glad we could fight Kings of Leon because I do hold a slightly higher quality standard for musical interest, though that's a lot of people's taste. Clearly, he has no taste, no class.
No, and that was easy to pile on, but like you said, the other one was a little bit infighting, and really, Randy Orton's the master of working us all, so more kudos to him.
Truly, as long as he got a lot of people talking, it actually brought a little glimmer of hope, little speckle of sunshine to my day was just seeing everyone stand up for all manner of professional wrestling, because I love it. It's one of the things that can make me happy.
No, that definitely. I mean, anytime people band together with what they're passionate about, that's always a great thing. But
there's still room to grow in wrestling. There's still things that we could change, we could advance in, just so that we're not only culturally relevant, but we're being culturally appropriate in our business practices and how we treat each other.
Exactly, whether it's in the ring or outside of the ring. They're just, a lot of times people think everything's recycled and, we're not going to see anything new, but this current era we're in right now, I feel like whether it's on the indie scene or the pro scene, there's so much that can be done to create new content and just generate new ideas. So, it's really limitless in my opinion.
It's very exciting to be on the cusp of that with Capital Wrestling too.
Obviously, yeah, right now with Capital, about to hold their second event come June 3rd, which you're going to take part in, but you were also a part of their first event.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, it's down at Cathedral Hall in Jersey City, and I'm going to wrestle, I think we call it wrestling, what he does. I'm going to compete with Rick Cataldo. I don't know, that's going to be weird. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry I didn't go to church. This is probably all my fault.
Before we get to that match, though, we're going to actually discuss. Yeah. Last weekend we saw you wrestle, courtesy of GFQ Network and Andrew Zarian, shout out. We saw you lose to Ken Dixon in that match. What was that match like for you, that experience? You had Vinny Pacifico with you. Obviously, you guys had the North-South connection. He couldn't wrestle with his leg injury. But what was that experience like for you?
No, which I wish she had told me about, but the experience of fighting Ken Dixon was more or less surviving an assault. An assault that I wasn't really anticipating. I mean, you can go back and watch the episode and see that I'm fighting in jeans and a t-shirt. Ken Dixon was clearly all prepared, just as pro wrestlers do. He was wearing underpants, which I still don't understand anymore. He was all oiled up, which I'll never understand. But boy, did he pack a punch. I just found out the hard. Vinny hadn't thrown my name out there like that. But that's going to be our dynamic. He had some things to learn, and oh boy, I'm gonna eat some bricks for it, I'm sure.
Well, it sure was the battle of the beards, and Ken was in no mood to be playing that night.
No, he wasn't. It wasn't. No bit of that was play. No bit of that was enjoyable. I think I got my licks in, and it showed that I could hang even on short notice. But he's a real serious contender. He's probably on the watch list for as many promotions as I could think of or name. As far as I can tell, he's like the main event future of indies, and everyone should be looking out for him. I know I'm looking out for him, but more like a duck kind of way.
Yeah, in the rearview mirror, just make sure he's not behind you. He's not only great in the ring, but he's also on, you see him on social media, it's a Twitter or Facebook. He's always very sharp on there as well.
He's a real troll. He's a real bully on there. I don't know where he found the middle finger emoji. I keep looking. I can't get the updates. I don't know if I'd ever use it either. But
well, you still have a flip phone anyway, right?
I wish it was that way. I've fallen into modernity. We need these things to promote ourselves, to interact as much as we can, and it's sometimes it's a little bit of a self-help book. You can sometimes I can reach out and express myself, and it's nice to see and hear from professional wrestling fans just like I am, who like to support and see someone like themselves, go for it. I think as much as I'm a cautionary tale in wrestling, don't go out and pick fights with people. Don't do it. As foolish as I am, I'm also like a tale of hope and positivity. I gotta stop patting myself on the back though.
I guess next, in June 3rd, your goal is going to be to take the shirt off this time, right?
Yeah, that might even be the goal of Rick Cataldo. He might even want to pat me on the back. We'll see. Again, Mom, I'm so sorry. It's not what it looks like. I know what it looks like, Mom, that I like wrestling, but it's not like that. Stop telling me that it's okay. God.
He's just trying to pay the bills, Mom.
If I can. Hopefully I can. Next pay window. I've heard it's better.
Where does your passion for wrestling come from? Where did you first get the interest into it?
I can't remember a time in my life that that wrestling wasn't around, or that I wasn't actively seeking out watching it. One of my favorite stories, it's not much of a story, but it's my first active memory is watching WWF Superstars on a Saturday morning or afternoon. It's Bret Hart and Adam Bomb, to pull a name out of relative obscurity from the early 90s. I was just forever hooked. I can't think of a time where wrestling wasn't on my TV yet. I think somehow my dad had some old tapes of some Boston Garden house shows, or definitely WrestleMania 3, and where some kids will watch an animated Disney feature or keep on Nickelodeon. My mom couldn't keep these old wrestling tapes out of my hands or out of the VCR. To my woe, they disappeared. Who knows where, but they're just gone forever. I think we're just sick of watching wrestling. Mm-hmm. My mother was.
Who are some of the guys you looked up to that you modeled your style after, that you want to emulate?
Man, that's tough, because I never really wanted to emulate or imitate anybody, because I always looked at what they were doing as almost impossible to achieve. Those are my gods. Albeit they're still there as influences. As I grew up, it was Bret Hart, and then it was Mick Foley, and it was Eddie Guerrero. That really made me start to think it's something I'd like to do, or something I'd at least like to try. I mean, those guys made me a believer in myself and the craft.
Mm-hmm. So what was your first step in terms of finding training and where to go? And
I remember being right around 12 years old and telling my mother that I wanted to take a summer trip to Atlanta, Georgia, because I believe it's Mr. Hughes runs a wrestling school out there, and he was offering brief summer camp sessions for even kids could come and learn the ropes and try a wrestling match. And she told me absolutely not. It wasn't going to be a thing we were trying. I tried wrestling in high school. That was difficult, but it was an eye-opening experience. Once I got to see guys like Kurt Angle, I understood how important that could be to save my life in a dangerous situation. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until I was about 19 that I found a reputable dojo in Richmond, Virginia. It's Ground Zero Wrestling, and the zero is spelled with an X. We weren't always guaranteed smarts in pro wrestling, so there you go. But again, if you're in the Richmond, Virginia area, that is a perfectly cromulent place to learn the basics of the craft. And I trained there for about two and a half years before I saw my first match with Fusion Wrestling.
Mm-hmm. And what was that like for you, that first match?
That first match was horrifying. I had to compete against Diamond Victor Griff, who is a former state powerlifting champion, and at that point, I was still happy-go-lucky and still naive, but just a lucky little white kid. Just had his 21st birthday. Really had no business being in there with, like, a grown man like that.
And when was this? What year was this exactly?
That's 2011. It's January of 2011. Just maybe a week or two after my 21st birthday.
So what do you think present day Ryan Zane would say to 21-year-old Ryan Zane in terms of lessons learned and what to expect, or what not to do?
Duck. Go for the knees. Run. Yes. Duck, dive, dodge.
Dip and dodge.
I probably would have been a little bit more dodgier. Yes. In fact, if I could dodge Diamond Victor Griff's fists, I could dodge a loss. Yeah, I looked passable, and even watching it back, I'm proud of the effort I put in. But there are a lot of rookie mistakes. Every rookie probably makes the mistakes that I made.
Yeah. No, it happened. And obviously, the very first match, you're going to have your jitters, you're going to have your nerves. You're probably going to overthink something, and then, or in some cases, maybe underthink and not do something and completely miss out.
Well, my first time I have jitters and nerves. Should I not still be getting jitters and nerves?
Oh no! I mean, I guess that there's a certain kind of nerves you want at this point, because if you don't have those, then you're not don't have that sense of urgency.
Okay. Oof. All right. Thanks, Sean. I'll work on that. But stuff.
Now, what were your initial goals when you first got into wrestling, and how have they changed since then?
Geez, they haven't changed a whole lot. I just love professional wrestling. I just want to be around it. I love to meet more people through it. I love competing. I love of course, the goal is to win, but I mean, as long as I hear people standing and applauding, whether I'm staring at the lights or looking out at them, I'm happy. I don't derive joy from a lot. Wrestling's one of the things. It's like the one thing that isn't another person that I can actually find joy and love it, and I still do. So I guess the goal is still the same: just to push forward, to stay involved, to not get injured, to hopefully spread a message of positivity, and just this idea that as long as we stick to something, and as long as we believe that we can do it, and we have a true driven desire, that we can go out and be a part and affect change. I want to affect change in people's lives. People who still, like, sometimes I wake up it's almost every day I wake up and I fight to get out of bed, or I have trouble believing in myself, but if I can help someone else, get up and get out of bed, and if Ryan Zane can do it, I can too, then that's the change I want in the world. Aside from, several imbalances in bullying and morals, I'd like to see change within the wrestling business. I don't think I'm going to drive that change personally, but I want to stand by everyone who wants to see bullying leave and wants to see racism leave the locker rooms and sexism leave the locker rooms and all that stuff. That's going to be the most difficult fight, but
like you said, I think Capital's on the forefront of that as well, in terms of, there's just a melting pot. What I've said in the past about the roster, there's so many different talented guys on the roster.
Yeah, and I think as long as they're open to it backstage, that's going to drive a lot of positive conversation and learning between a generational gap or a culture gap that exists between guys in the North and the South, like Vinny and I, or just the new young generation and the old stalwarts of these past almost forgotten morals, these ideologies of a outgone at age.
No, definitely. And it doesn't seem like there's a lot of egos on the roster. I mean, people are just there to create something special, do different things, really, and everyone from all these different backgrounds has plenty to offer.
Yeah, Capital's almost this entirely unique beast. It's hard to do something that's truly new or unique in wrestling, but you can get a feel just from watching Capital, from being at the show, from being in the locker room. It was unlike anything else I'd experienced up to that point. And now I'm very excited for the future of it. I want Capital Wrestling to grow. I want that idea, some of those new age ideas mixed with old school production. I want all of that.
The location, not just the cathedral, but also just Jersey City, like Matthew says, in the shadow of New York City.
It's because it's not. I don't know if most people know that Jersey City's there or see the culture that exists in it, but I got a chance to walk around, where we are in the cathedral. Well, the cathedral is a beautiful venue, but the area around it is what would appear to be a pretty clear melting pot. On one side of the cathedral, you have nice shops and restaurants, and on the other side, it's, like a rough urban neighborhood. And I love that. It's everything that Capital is. It's two ideas in multiple different, types of meetings clashing together. And not clashing. Clashing isn't the word. It's mixing.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I guess the only clash we're going to be having is John Kerman versus Jeff Cannonball again. That's a styles clash for sure.
That's really a big clash of styles and two different ideologies. They're two guys who are driven to violence in unique types. John Kerman's type of violence is very technical. It's martial arts based. Cannonball's violence, it comes in the form of sharp objects. I don't know if we'll be seeing that in Capital Wrestling or at Cathedral Hall. It comes in the form of hard hitting, using his entire massive frame to squish somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not a dumb guy. I mean, people might label him because he's a deathmatch guy, but he's easily one of the most intelligent men I've ever spoken to in the locker room. And once you get to know him, you realize he's a friend. He's an ally to so many causes.
Definitely a very down to earth guy who is easy to talk to and just has definitely.
Yeah, guys, go buy Cannonball shirts.
Yeah, brand new ones too. But we've touched on it before during the interview, but we also we're talking about your upcoming match against Rick Cataldo, one half of the Fella Twins. He was not able to be there on March 25th, but now that's June 3rd rolling around. What do you expect from him?
I actually had a chance to scout Rick Cataldo at a WSU event this past weekend, and I was surprised to see the level of ferocity in his offense. From what I understood about him prior to that, I thought I was in for a walk in the park. Now I know he's there to play some mind games too. This might be uncomfortable, but he's going to use his unique approach to sexuality as a psychological warfare type of maneuver in our match. So I do have to prepare for that, but I can't underestimate him and assume he's all fun and games.
Mm-hmm.
He can get down. I said get, right? He can get down. He can fight. He could hurt me. I just need to be on the cautious defensive while also trying to secure that pinfall.
Mm-hmm. And do you think, Vinny ringside, do you think that'll help you this match?
It could. Especially, if any of the other fellows are around you. I don't want Vinny... I don't want him to further complicate his injury. He has to go through physical therapy. He's got to recover that knee so he can get back here and, God willing, carry the team. Need this kid to carry the team. I feel like I might start going to the pay window as Vinny gets back, but we'll see.
So do you feel like when he gets back and you guys start tagging together, the sky's the limit for y'all?
I really do. It's one of my bigger goals is to, one, ensure that we win matches. Yes, great. I'd like to see the better end of the Capital Wrestling tag titles with him. Mm-hmm. That would be amazing. But one of my bigger goals in teaming with Vinny and being aligned with him, once I was told I was going to be aligned with him in the North-South connection, is just to make sure this kid doesn't become, unfortunately, what a lot of us become, which is at a certain point, jaded. At a certain point, we realize we shouldn't meet our heroes. And it's just my goal to make sure that Vinny doesn't lose that positive perspective that he brings, because I don't always bring it, and I've got to make sure I'm not bringing him down, because that kid picks me up, man. Mm-hmm.
And your thoughts on the tag team champions, Luxury Muscles Incorporated, as well as New York Wrecking Crew?
The New York Wrecking Crew is a force of absolute destruction. I take nothing away from them. They can destroy. And they also have Matthew Ryan Shapiro in their corner guiding them. That's a very dangerous thing. It's not just blind fury. Mm-hmm. It's fury with a focus.
Exactly.
When it comes to Luxury Muscles, I just don't know where their heads are at. I'd like to call them glamour muscles. If you're familiar with the Always Sunny in Philadelphia reference.
Yeah.
They're they're mostly glamour muscles. And I think we could take advantage of their, general overconfidence and the way that they're led. I feel like we could have a chance against any of these teams. There's a hole to find in everyone's game. And again, not to take away from Luxury Muscles Incorporated, those are two superb athletes. Stan Styles kind of freaks me out, but that's okay. We're all kind of being these larger than life. I guess I am larger than life characters.
Yeah, no, and I guess from talking to Vinny early in the show, he said that he's looking for a tentative return, maybe late summer, early fall, sometime around there. But there's no guarantees. But I'm sure when he comes back, you guys will be ready to take on the rest of the Capital Wrestling Tag Team Division.
And we're going to have to. We're going to, obviously, with the time off and me just having singles matches, I'm not really aiming for a title. I'm hoping to get wins. I'm hoping to entertain. I'm hoping to spread my general message of positivity and openness. But once he gets back, we're going to have to go through everybody before we can be the guys. If we can be the guys. If we can prove or try to prove that we can be the guys leading the tag team division at Capital Wrestling. It's going to be a crawl. More than a zip line. And it's definitely not going to be a sprint. But we just hope the Capital Wrestling fans around the country and maybe even the world start to get a hold of the idea of North-South connection and that they can believe in us and that we won't let them down.
Do you think Bearded One Barbecue would believe in you for a sponsorship?
That would be nice. I do like barbecue. I'm going to shy away from food ever. If you're listening, guys, I mean, I just look like the poster boy. Just cover me in some sauce and napkins. That's going to get Rick Cataldo thinking. Anyway.
No, but yeah, I think that would go hand in hand with you and that company. That's very delicious food, and obviously the beard.
And brisket in mouth, whatever. I'll have it.
But yeah, exactly. There you go. But any shows you got coming up before Capital Wrestling, or anything like social media you want to plug?
Let me get the social media out of the way because the other half is a bit longer. I am on Twitter. I'd like to just interact with wrestling fans on Wrestle Twitter, if that's all right, guys. If you find me anywhere else, just kindly wave at your computer screen and then back away, and then come say hi to me at a show or an event. But I am at Wrestle. You guys know how to spell it? It's the word on every marquee of every event you go to. And then Rye, R-Y, the first two letters of my first name. I could use follows right now. I only just put that back up recently because I only really recently returned to professional wrestling through Capital. And by circumstance, I walked into an event in New Jersey a couple of weeks ago, and it turned out there was a guy in the ring, Danny Montgomery Yost, who was offering an open challenge. So I wound up having to take that open challenge, and now every Wednesday you can find me at CZW Dojo Wars, 110 Harmon Drive right in New Jersey. Please just Google Dojo Wars. You can see me every Wednesday for $5. Trying to survive, really trying to hone the craft and get ready for these Capital shows and stay sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Continue to support Capital Wrestling. Continue to see where this unique format goes, where this journey takes us. Go follow me and stuff. Just keep track of all my events on there. Go check out all of Vinny's social media. Follow him.
Like I said earlier, once you guys get in the ring together, I think we see good results. But it was great to have you on the show and spending your time with us today. And we're getting hyped for that June 3rd. You're very welcome. And we're getting very hyped for that June 3rd show coming up, and we'll be excited to see you versus Rick Cataldo and see what kind of chemistry you guys have in the ring.
Oh, chemistry. All right. Yep. Chemistry. Got it.
All right. Let me rephrase that.
It's not biology.
We're excited to see what you and Rick Cataldo, what kind of match you guys can put on.
Yes. That's the most PC way we can put it. I like it. I'm sure it won't disappoint. Whatever we bring to the table, whatever it comes to,
Yeah, exactly. There you go. That's the best way to cap that one off. And after, we're going to take a quick break, and after that, we're going to run down the rest of the card for June 3rd for Cathedral Hall from Jersey City. And that's going to do it for this week. Well, it's great to have Vinny and Ryan on the same show this week, the North-South Connection. Unfortunately, due to his injury, Vinny won't be able to compete with Ryan and see them in the ring together, but he will be supporting Ryan on June 3rd, live from Cathedral Hall in Jersey City, as Capital Wrestling returns. And Ryan will be taking on the Boy Wonder, Rick Cataldo, one half of the Fella Twins. Very unique dynamic for that matchup, and can't wait to see how that one goes down. Also, Luxury Muscles Incorporated will be defending their tag team titles versus Smiley and That Sells. And they will be joined by Bobby Shields and Stan Styles will be joined by the Femivist, Portia Vaughn. The Rogue, Anthony Gangone, will be taking on the Bo Show, Bo Crockett. The champion of the 1%, Logan East Leroy, will be taking on the Ripper, Jason Karloff. The New York Wrecking Crew will be taking on the Extreme Rednecks. Will Matthew Ryan Shapiro get involved in that matchup? The Beard versus the Booty, Ken Dixon and his History of Violence will be returning to Jersey City. He'll be taking on the Concrete Rose, Sonny Kiss. Also, the Styles will clash once again as Jeff Cannonball takes on John Kerman. John Kerman had an incidental kick in the last show, and Jeff Cannonball was unfortunately could not get up to compete. But Kerman was disqualified. So how will the next matchup go down? We will see. And in the main event, Colossal Mike Law will be taking on the Pain Train, Preston Quinn of the National Wrestling Alliance. There's a lot of moving pieces right now in Capital Wrestling, a lot going on, and not only in the ring but also outside of it. Their recent deal with Eric Bischoff's IRWnetwork.com. You can check them out every Monday afternoon. They'll be streaming there on IRWnetwork.com. You can buy your tickets for the June 3rd show at brownpaperticket.com. Just search Capital Wrestling Live. Follow them on Twitter at Capital Wrestling without the G. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean Neutron. Also, my other venture, WLWstudios.com/Squared Circle Sound Off. You can catch me every Thursday evening, talking WWE, interviews with various stars, whatever it may be. And next week here on the Capital Wrestling Podcast, we'll be talking to Sizzling Stan Styles, one half of the tag team champions of Capital Wrestling. And we also will be talking to Smooth Blackmon, one half of the New York Wrecking Crew. So it'll be fun to get those guys on here and talk a little bit more about the tag team division right now in Capital Wrestling. A lot going on. And I want to thank everyone for listening. And come back here next week at 12 p.m. at soundcloud.com/El Toro's Podcast.